one of the management concepts which has really struck me a lot, and I see a lot of value in using that, is the business value chain. Business value chain is not only a listing of the various activities which are done by the organization. It is also, if you see right from the chain of value addition, which goes from raw material to manufacturing in a classical way, and then from manufacturing it goes to finished goods, it becomes finished goods, and then marketing and sales, and then you reach up to customers. The important thing here is that what one needs to understand is how is value, and at what stage of the business chain is the value getting added. So let's take an example of raw material. Let's assume that if a raw material of ₹100 is being purchased, after manufacturing, value is getting added to it significantly, and so it becomes valued at 250. Say after finished goods, after packaging and inventory cost and all, say it comes up to 300. And say marketing and sales look at the classical aspect of demand and supply curves, and when they look at the demand supply curves, and then they evaluate and the brand strength that they have in the market, and then they are selling it at 350, and with the profit margin here coming in, so you can actually add it, so the customer gets it, say, at 400. So what's important in the business value chain is to identify the steps where the maximum value is getting added in the whole process, and therefore be able to refine and add value, add higher value at every stage. Now there are organizations which derive a lot of benefit because of being close to the raw material. So take a case of a power company, a power generation company, which is located close to coal mines, or an iron and steel making company which is located close to iron ore mines. Such kind of organizations derive a lot of value because they can source the raw material at substantially lesser prices. Look at manufacturing. The greatest example in the world is Toyota, which actually revolutionized the way the world works, and largely because of ingenious work in the manufacturing domain. If you look at now, there are various different aspects which get covered here. When you are looking at finished goods, you can look at inventory management. Inventory management by good companies which do good inventory management free up a lot of working capital in the process. So a lot of working capital can be freed by excellent finished goods management. Marketing and sales, there are n number of companies which have done excellent marketing and sales, and they have created a name for themselves not because they are the best product, but they are perhaps the best brand and the most known ones. McDonald's is a good example of this. Now, while this is one aspect of business value chain, also understand that while these are the list of primary activities, there are a list of secondary activities which are done in business value chain, and the secondary activities are activities like IT plus HR plus you might call branding as a secondary activity, and these activities add value at different stages in the organization. Smart organizations are able to derive intense amount of value from these secondary activities. For example, IT has been at the forefront of making Walmart the leader in retail. Now if you look at it, what does a retailer do? They source. A retailer business value chain will be very similar. They will source, and then they will have their own retail outlets. There is retail outlet management. Then they will stock. They will push the stock out of the shelves at the lowest, fastest possible. Efficient use of IT ensured that Walmart is able to do all of these at a much cheaper price than any other competitors in this place. So therefore Walmart, through excellent operations control, could actually make far more money in a business where people were just losing money earlier or were complacent. Another way to look at the business value chain is that If you look at the airlines industry, the cost of the tickets are more or less fixed. There isn't too much of a change that one can do on it because of the competitive nature. So what did Southwest do? Southwest ensured that Southwest bought the same type of aircraft. So, so when they bought the same aircraft, they reduced the costs significantly of training or of spares. So once they do this, automatically what's happening is that in a business value chain which is more or less constant, they have got a particular lever using which they do better than the other organizations in the same space. It's important for your organization to be able to construct the business value chain and be able to identify where you will constantly add value, and that is strategic in nature. In business value chain, at different points of time in a business, in the life of a business organization, different aspects become critical. So while if the raw material is available cheap, there might be a tendency to overuse raw material, but when the raw material becomes expensive, there might be a need to optimize on the raw material usage. So therefore, a lot of these chain are interesting aspects to be kept in mind and important. At the same time, in the business value chain, if the feedback loop is completed, so what the customers actually end up paying and what the customers end up asking for, if that can be directly plugged into the various departments of the organization in some way, that organization will be far more customer focused and therefore will be benefiting over a period of time. The business value chain is a concept which, if used well, an organization can actually derive a lot of value.